Okay, talking about wedding budgets is the worst. When people are first getting engaged and starting to plan their wedding, they have to talk about money, and it's always a hard conversation. And a lot of folks really have trouble with figuring out how to set a wedding budget. So I'm going to help you. There are two ways that people do this. One, they have a number, and this is their number, and they are comfortable with that number, and they're not willing to spend any more than that. And then they have a certain number of guests that they would like to invite. And so they need to find a space that can fit that number and can fit that number of guests. Perfect. That gives you a range of venues that work within the price point to get you to like 50 to 65% of your budget, which should be allocated towards your venue costs, food and beverage, staffing, basic rentals, etc. The other way that people do it is that they have a dream space and they have been in love with this space and obsessed with it forever, and this is where they want to get married. Then you find out what that space costs on a per person basis in terms of like rental. If they include catering and beverage, then it's usually like a per person price or a minimum spend. And then you allocate your guest list accordingly. In that scenario, it may work out that you can invite everybody on your guest list because your budget is sufficient. If not, things that you can do so that you can still get married at that space and meet their minimums are you can drop your guest list and spend, meet their minimum. Or you can look at moving your wedding to a different time of the year. Like in Toronto, our off season is sort of God, it gets smaller every year. It's like January to March now, like November to April kind of thing. Or you can look at doing a different time of the week. So obviously, like there are 52 Saturdays in a year in our market. Saturdays go first. All of the best venues, their Saturdays are gone 18 months, 24 months in advance. But we've had tons of couples that have booked a wedding on, a Friday, a Monday, a Thursday. If your guests are traveling in from out of town, then it's a destination wedding for them anyway, so it doesn't really matter what day of the week you go with. But my point is that when you're setting your budget, your guest count is going to be one of the the biggest drivers of cost with your venue and your catering. So if you have flexibility there, great. If not, you're going to have to find a venue that price per person doesn't exceed 50 to 65% of your budget, because then you're going to be super squeezed for the rest of the things that you need to have that have a pretty much a static cost, no matter the day of the year or time of the year that you plan the wedding. I hope this helps. If it does, follow me. I have more tips.